One of the major intervention of Aspire is mindset shift, we call it as. And the mindset shift we bring it in them is from a doer to an enabler mindset. So but in Aspire we work on the mindset shift to see how can you enable thousands and millions of people to become change maker. But you are distributing that mission or passion to many more. In just 9 months, he has got 45,000 people on his chatbot. So imagine the role of technology here. Imagine the reach of the network effect model here. That's what Ashoka's larger vision is, everyone a change maker world. In short, we call it as EACH, each, which stand for everyone a change maker world.
Hello and welcome to TALRadio. In today's episode, we are going to dive deep into social entrepreneurship world. I'm sitting with Mr. Gopal Garg, Director of Ecosystem and Partnerships with Ashoka ASPIRE. Today we are talking about what it really takes to be a fellow at Ashoka, what is their new program Aspire, what are the changes happening in social entrepreneurship world, and why we need to change systems and make new ones. Welcome Gopal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Archita. Happy to be here.
Please tell us what is Aspire and how it is associated with Ashoka and how it actually functions.
Aspire is one of the accelerators in Ashoka, and as we have many accelerators where we work with social entrepreneurs. So just to give you a brief about Ashoka first. So Ashoka is the largest network of social entrepreneurs globally. We have about 4,000 fellows across 9 countries now. So and when we talk about the fellows, these are identified and nominated through a rigorous selection process. That's how they become Ashoka Fellows. And once they become Ashoka Fellows, then there are several programs which are offered to them. And one among them is Aspire Accelerator.
I hear that Ashoka itself is a really big ecosystem and there are a lot of programs. How was Aspire born and how were you associated with it?
As you rightly said, Ashoka has got its own network of 4,000 Ashoka Fellows globally. So, and we have people like Kailash Satyarthi, Anshu Gupta. These are, along with many others, these are very inspiring people who have been our fellows for a long time. So, and Aspire is born out of this whole understanding that how can a social entrepreneur scale their impact. So, and there are various pathways to scale. Imagine if somebody is solving for 10,000 people in their community, but the idea has the potential to even to go to 1 million people or even 100 million people. So how can that happen? How can they really impact large number of people? So that was the understanding, and then we started thinking, because Ashoka is also doing a lot of research, also is doing a lot of knowledge building for the field of social entrepreneurship. And Archita, we found couple of areas which are important for scale. So one, we found that many social entrepreneurs work in silos or in isolation. Like it's, imagine like a one organization solving for many people. So then we thought of a model where can the design be, instead of a one to many, can it be many to many? So that is where the whole thinking came in on how can the change making cannot just remain with one individual social entrepreneur, but it can go widespread to a network. How can a network become change makers and not just a social entrepreneur struggling to solve as an individual or as an institution? So that's the core design of Aspire. And then when we went back to our own fellows who have come through a rigorous selection process, we wanted to see who can think in a network fashion. How can they think to solve a social problem in a networking model? So that's where we introduce the model of change making network. So, and the whole idea of the change making network is how do you kick in many to many so that there are many change makers and not just one change maker, that also redefine the role of this change maker from a social entrepreneur to an ecosystem orchestrator. So that's the journey Aspire provides them, from solving by themselves alone or as only from their organization to solving through a network.
I understand that you're going to provide support, but what kind of support? Will you give them guidance? that how can they do it with their idea, how can they scale and continue scaling, or will you give them financial support, or how it works?
Yeah. So one of the major intervention of Aspire is mindset shift, we call it as. And the mindset shift we bring it in them is from a doer to an enabler mindset. So if you see, most of them are in the doer mindset. So they see a problem, they come up with a solution, and then they drive the solution. And that's how, from an individual passion, they have now created their institutions or organizations to deliver that impact. So, but the mindset is a very doer mindset, that I am going to change the world, or my organization is going to change the world. So, but in Aspire, we work on the mindset shift to see what is enabling means. How can you enable thousands and millions of people to become change maker? So it is not just your mission, your passion, but you are distributing that mission or passion to many more. And one more important nuance is in Aspire is also we insist on identifying people from the community they are serving. Let's say, for example, somebody is working on disability inclusion. So here we wanted to see how the persons with disability themselves can become change makers. So they don't look out for an external support, they become change makers for their own community. So likewise, person, let's say in the education system, how can students who are going through an intervention now can become change makers and solve for many more students? So that is how we build the network method into it, and network effects start kicking in. So, and it doesn't remain with one institution solving for few thousands, but when the network solves, you can actually see it is solving for millions.
That's beautiful. Helping, just as you rightly put, if somebody is disabled, they themselves can be change makers, so they don't have to look out for help. And
Correct.
that's nice. What is the mission? I understand that you want to help change makers become ecosystem and help doers, say, as you mentioned, from doers to enablers. But what's the mission of Aspire?
Yeah, so if I put it broadly into three goals of Aspire, is one is how do we help social entrepreneurs think in network. Second, how do we help them design for, let's say, 100 million population. So I'll give you one example of disaster. Let's say one of our fellow who is working in disaster mitigation, relief and recovery. So when he joined Aspire program, he was solving for 2 million people. So whereas when we asked him the size of the problem, he said the size of the problem is 320 million people in India are vulnerable to disasters. So imagine, almost one third of our population is vulnerable to disaster. Whether you take places like Uttarakhand, Orissa, Kerala, even cities now are prone to disasters. So, but he is only thinking of, and he's practically solving for 2 million people. But because he has got the experience, he has got background of solving, he knows what are the nuances, what it takes to solve for 320 million people. And he knows individually neither his organization, neither even couple of organization, neither government alone can solve it. But if everyone come into a network to solve it, it is a possibility. So that's where Aspire has helped him to come up with a blueprint. Of course, it took a couple of years for him to arrive at the blueprint, build evidences around it, do multiple pilots to vet the model. But now today he is ready with his blueprint to solve for 320 million people. And he's confident that in next 7 to 8 years, he will touch 320 million lives. And when I say, let me correct it here, it will not him who will reach, it will the network who will reach. So imagine he putting his experience not just for 2 million people, but because he comes with the nuance and experience and background, he can actually design for 320 million people. And if not him, who else can do it? Nobody is equipped in the ecosystem to do it. So that's why he is leveraging the ecosystem. The whole design help him to think ecosystem make, network, and enabling more and more change makers into the ecosystem.
That's beautiful. I mean, the number you just mentioned is a huge, huge number. That's nice. How can somebody be part of Aspire, and since how long you are supporting people through Aspire?
So Aspire is a 5 years old program, and it's a global program. So For example, recently we have done a cohort in Indonesia, and the current model is under Ashoka's program, and Ashoka's umbrella. So we go and work in the geographies where Ashoka fellows are there. So, but we realize that it need to go to the larger ecosystem, large social entrepreneurs who are beyond Ashoka's network
Okay.
also. So for them, we have curated courses which they can take online. We are always ready to keep it open source to see more and more people can learn through it and start thinking in their own context how can they really use it. We are always ready to also talk to them beyond the Ashoka ecosystem. But currently, the intensity through which we take it are for people in the Ashoka ecosystem.
So, is there a cap of numbers that how many people you can take, or how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, that's a good question, Archita, because we, after doing for so many fellows and social entrepreneurs in last 5 years, we are seeing huge demand, and we know Aspire has a very limited capacity. There are only few of us who can actually run the program. So we have just started working on an AI modeling. It's called as an AI coach, and we are trying to see how can an AI coach support a social entrepreneur through go through an Aspire journey. So it's still under making. So I'm not 100% there to say that yes, it's ready for people to use it, but maybe in due course. But this year, 2026, we are planning to launch it for the larger field of social entrepreneurs.
Gopal, tell us how Aspire is different from other leadership programs that we already have.
Yeah, so Archita, if you see, there are many leadership programs, as you rightly asked about, focus on the leadership of an individual, capacity building of an individual, or capacity building of an organization. So they always look at organization development because the assumption is the organization is going to solve for it. Here, yes, organization is important, but in Aspire, we take them away from their organization and think at an ecosystem level. For example, I'll just repeat that whole example of an individual passionate to solve something. Started as an individual, move it into institution building by forming an organization to expand the work by bringing team members together. And it should not stop there. Social entrepreneurship should go beyond an institution solving to an ecosystem solving. So that's where Aspire brings that transitioning from an institution leadership to an ecosystem orchestrator. So where you are not just running your organization, but you are also orchestrating a larger ecosystem to solve for the larger cause or to solve at scale. So that's how it is different, and there is a lot of let go happen here with the leader. So many of our leaders, they also realize that their organizations sometimes are limited to play that role. So they have also moved into an ecosystem kind of a modeling where they realize that their organization cannot solve for it. So they moved into that leadership of a systems. So and that is where their backgrounds are important, but we want to see they are not just limited with their organization. They should go much bigger into the ecosystem. That is where Aspire bring a very different nuances. And also the design principles of Aspire, for example, is how do you distribute more and more ability to solve rather than you solving. Many different leadership programs focus on linear thinking. If you have a solution, then they focus on how can this solution go to many more people. In simple words, we call it as a replication model.
Okay.
Aspire doesn't work on replication model. We in fact discourage replication. Then you will be surprised, oh, then how do they really go to
Yeah.
scale? So here we tell them you are creating many more solution providers. You are distributing the ability for many more solutions to come. It is not just your solution becoming spread, because your solutions may again have limitations, or sometimes there must be some innovation which is yet to be born among the people itself. So you are here providing capacities to people to come up with more solution, which is a very non-linear model. And our fellows who have done it, or social entrepreneurs who have gone through Aspire, you will be amazed to see how change making happen at a network level, at an exponential change level, and not in a linear fashion. So that's how Aspire is very different.
It's very fascinating. So you're saying that when a change maker comes to you, or when they start, they themselves are going to the people, helping them first hand, or maybe they have a team to do that for them, but still it's a doer mindset, as you
Yes.
initially mentioned. And now they are building networks and enabling other people, so they don't have to do, they're just maybe teaching, guiding and supporting
Yes.
in the ways it is required and not in the ways
Absolutely.
they do it. It's amazing. Do you want to share any success story with our listeners and audience?
Many success stories, but maybe I can just pick one which everyone can connect to. So as you're seeing, water is a huge issue now. So, and with cities, water is becoming more and more big problem. Even in rural areas, the water is a problem. And here we have one fellow. His name is Sundarajan Krishnan. So he runs an organization called as INREM, INREM, which focuses on water.
Okay.
So if you see, he has started. By the way, just to let you know, he is an IIT Bombay graduate, and after coming out from there, he wanted to solve for the water issue in a particular geography. So somebody told me a place called as Jhabua, a small village in Madhya Pradesh, where there is a huge fluoride problem in water. So and because of that, not even the human health but also the animal health was suffering. So he went there, did lot of research, lot of study, and started intervening, bringing solutions to reduce fluoride in the area. And then he expanded his solution to many other states, not just Madhya Pradesh. So, and he's real time solving the potable water problem, the drinking water problem. And when he joined Aspire, he's already working and serving to few thousands of families in different region. But when we started asking him problem, again the problem is in millions, in crores. So that's where we ask the question. So in Aspire, we ask a lot of questions to our fellows because that opens their minds to new possibilities. So when we started asking Sundar, okay, if not you, who are the others who can solve the problem? So he kept on thinking, he kept on uh, brainstorming on who are the people on ground who can take up the water challenge. And then he took this challenge to Assam, which is a new estate for him. He never worked in Assam. And he said, okay, let me go and maybe try with some young people there. So he tied up with the education department there, thinking that, okay, he will go and activate 5,000 water change makers.
Okay.
So he will bring these young people who are having a break now during the summer break and teach them how to test water in their own community and then how to solve for it. So and then he launched it, and one of the also important element of Aspire is we bring technology into the play. When they design for million population, we ensure it is enabled by technology. So he used a chatbot, a simple chatbot, to onboard the students. And because he has the education department with him joining hands, there are people joining him on the chatbot, and he on the chatbot he started telling them how do you test water at your home, at your community level, and then if you find certain color parameters, smell parameters, then how do you solve for it, what are the ways to solve. So it is like imagine somebody's helping you solve your water issue on a WhatsApp chatbot. And all these young people, college going students, university graduates, undergraduates have access to WhatsApp. So he was hoping about 5,000 people will come on board and start intervening in their own localities. So, but Archita, you will be surprised to see in just 9 months, he has got 45,000 people on his chatbot.
Wow.
Because it was uncontrollable. There were people coming, interacting, putting the samples, photograph of the water, and they are telling these are the issues, this is what the health issues we are finding, and he's providing solutions through that. So imagine the role of technology here. Imagine the reach of the network effect model here. So now 45,000 communities are water safe communities. And that's what Sundarajan Krishna's dream is, on how every place in India can be water safe communities. And they solve their own problem. So imagine a young person going to college but also solving a water problem at not just her or his home but also in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Equipped by knowledge and the tool given on a WhatsApp chatbot. So that's how Aspire bring that. And now Sundar is confident of not just limiting himself to one village called as Jhabua, but of course the Jhabua experience helped him to do this at a larger scale. So and likewise we have many more fellows solving for different social issues using the network to solve it, and not an individual or an institution alone to solve it.
And these kids will also go and tell other people and tell them to join this. And
Absolutely. And that's what it happened. When he got initially, I remember he just got 20 people onboarded initially. And imagine this 20 went around and told their friends of friends, friends of friends, and it has reached 45,000 in just 9 months. Whereas if you see in last 10 years, what Sundar has solved must be for 25,000 families. But now in just 9 months, he could do it for 45,000 families. 45,000 communities, not even families. So that is the power Aspire give them to think and use existing leveraging points. So he has not created anything new. He has used the existing technology of WhatsApp chatbot. Of course, he need a design thinking here to design it, and also he need networks. Like here, the education department came on board. So, but he never thought an education department or a university solving a water problem. But now he has identified them in very Aspire typical language. We call it as trigger players. So he found a trigger player as university who can help him reach many more change makers. So this is one example, and we have many more examples from India, from Indonesia, and other countries where we are running Aspire now with Ashoka Fellows.
That's amazing. All the best to you for this, because it sounds really great, and I think more and more help will reach to more and more people, and that's what every change maker dreams of, that their change reaches to people who are actually in need. If somebody wants to explore change making, they are listening us for the first time, or maybe exploring change making industry, social entrepreneurship industry, how can Aspire help them?
Yeah, so one of the things in Aspire we have also done is maybe I can talk more from a business leader's perspective. If somebody is a business leader, maybe a CXO in any of the companies, and wanted to join hand in change making, so then we also attach them as, we call it as mission allies in Aspire. So every fellow who joins Aspire are supported by 2 or 3 mission allies, because this person is designing for a million population or more than that. So they need strategy mindset, they need technology mindset, and business leaders come with those mindsets or those experiences and background. We really leverage them. So it's a great opportunity. If any business leader would like to join us as mission allies, they are most welcome. We would love to have them. Also, if some students want to join, then we have various avenues. Like Sundar Rajan Krishnan is one avenue. We have another fellow called as Kuldeep, who runs an organization called as Reap Benefit. So he has a portal called as Solve Ninja. So where he has gamified the whole change making for young people. So they can join his platform, and it's again run on simple WhatsApp chatbot. So we have many more avenues for everyone. And that's what Ashoka's larger vision is: everyone a change maker world. In short, we call it as EACH, each, which stand for everyone a change maker world. And that's what we are looking at it through multiple ways. And one of the ways is change making network.
Thank you so much for telling us in detail how Aspire works, and I think it's the need of the time that more and more people come for change making. The small change makers become bigger, and their mission reaches to more and more people, and you are helping them enable. That's really nice. All the best to you, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you.